Chapter 1, The Summons. The message arrived without ceremony. A single sealed envelope, marked with the High Council crest, waited on Aaron Vale's desk when he entered his office at dawn. His secretary stood stiff beside it, eyes avoiding his. Aaron sensed it instantly, something was wrong. He broke the seal. Your presence is required immediately at the council chamber. No explanation. No greeting. Orders. Aaron's jaw tightened. He was an alpha raised to command empires, not obey sudden summons like a common subordinate. Still, refusal was not an option. The council ruled bloodline politics, even powerful alphas bowed to it. As his car moved through the city, Aaron stared out the window, instincts restless beneath his calm expression. They never summon without motive. The council chamber doors opened with a heavy echo. Elders sat in a half-circle, their expressions unreadable. Aaron stepped forward confidently. You called for me. An elder folded his hands calmly. Yes. We have finalized a political alliance. Aaron nodded slightly. And? You will marry Leo Hart. Silence slammed into the room. Aaron blinked once. Who? A beta, the elder replied. Aaron's composure cracked. A beta? His voice sharpened. You expect the Vale heir to marry a beta? Murmurs spread quietly among the elders. This alliance stabilizes trade routes and neutral factions, another elder said. Blood hierarchy is irrelevant. Irrelevant. That word burned. Marriage was power. Legacy. Dominance. Not charity. Aaron's fists curled slowly. You're stripping my bloodline of strength. You are strengthening the nation, the elder replied flatly. Across the room, a quiet figure stood. Leo Hart. Slim shoulders. Soft eyes. Nervous posture. He looked painfully out of place among powerful alphas. Leo hadn't even known why he was summoned. His heart hammered as he realized the words were real. I'm being handed over like cargo. Aaron's gaze flickered toward him, sharp, cold, assessing. Leo lowered his eyes instinctively. In that brief moment, both understood. Neither had chosen this fate. Chapter 2, The Invisible One. Leo returned to his small apartment in silence. The door clicked shut behind him, cutting off the noise of the world. He leaned against it slowly, chest tight. A marriage, he whispered to himself. To an alpha. Betas weren't chosen. They were tolerated. Used. Replaced. He stared at his reflection in the mirror. Plain. Quiet. Forgettable. Why would anyone want me? His phone buzzed, official confirmation documents. Cold legal language binding his life away. Leo sat on his bed, gripping the phone tightly. No choice, he murmured. A hollow laugh escaped him. He began packing slowly. Not because he wanted to, but because betas learned early not to resist inevitability. Each folded shirt felt like a goodbye to the life he never truly owned. Chapter 3, Masks of Obedience. Aaron trained aggressively that night. Punch after punch struck the combat dummy until his knuckles burned. His wolf raged beneath his skin. A beta? They reduce me to this? His assistant hesitated at the door. Sir, are you okay? Aaron didn't stop punching. Leave. Sweat dripped down his face. Control was slipping, and that terrified him more than the marriage itself. For the first time, power was being taken from him. Chapter 4, Wedding of Ice. The wedding hall sparkled with luxury. Yet warmth was absent. Guests whispered freely. An alpha marrying a beta? How embarrassing. What a political joke. Leo stood rigid beside Aaron, hands trembling slightly. Aaron stared straight ahead, face carved from stone. The priest spoke. Vows echoed hollowly. When their hands briefly touched during the bond seal, Leo flinched instinctively. Aaron noticed. His jaw tightened. The ceremony ended without smiles. Without celebration. Aaron walked away immediately. Leo remained standing alone for several seconds, forgotten in his own wedding. Chapter 5, Divided Walls. The mansion was enormous. Cold marble floors reflected endless silence. "This will be your room," the housekeeper said gently to Leo. It was far from Aaron's wing. Separate lives. Separate worlds. At dinner, Leo sat alone. Plates untouched. He listened to distant footsteps that never came. So this is marriage, he thought quietly. Chapter 6, First Crack. Late at night, Leo accidentally dropped a glass in the hallway. It shattered loudly. He froze. Footsteps approached. Aaron stopped nearby. Leo bowed slightly, nervous. "I'm sorry." Aaron studied the broken glass. Then said quietly, "Be careful." And walked away. Leo stood stunned. That simple sentence replayed in his mind all night. Not cruel. Not kind. But human. Chapter 7, The Collapse. Aaron pushed his body too hard. Suppressants failed. His vision blurred. He collapsed in his room. Servants panicked. Call the doctor. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories if you haven't already. Now, back to the story. His temperature is rising. Leo heard the chaos and rushed in. Seeing Aaron pale and shaking made his breath catch. He knelt beside the bed instinctively. "It's okay, you're safe," Leo whispered while cooling Aaron's forehead. Aaron barely heard, but his body relaxed. For the first time in years, his nightmares softened. Chapter 8, Staying. Hours later, Aaron stirred. His vision cleared slowly. He saw Leo asleep in a chair beside his bed, head tilted awkwardly. "You stayed?" Aaron murmured weakly. Leo woke with a start. "Yes. I didn't want you to be alone." Something fragile cracked open inside Aaron. No one had ever stayed for him without obligation. Silence filled the room, but it was no longer empty. Chapter 9, Morning After. Sunlight slipped gently through the curtains. Aaron woke slowly, body still heavy but stable. The fever had broken. He turned his head slightly, and saw Leo asleep in the chair, dark circles under his eyes, hands folded in his lap. He stayed all night. Aaron swallowed. No one had ever watched over him like this. Not servants. Not family. Not allies. Leo stirred. "Oh, you're awake," Leo said softly, standing up immediately. "How do you feel?" "Better," Aaron replied. There was an awkward pause. "You should rest today," Leo added gently. "Doctor said your body needs recovery." Aaron nodded silently. After Leo left the room, Aaron lay staring at the ceiling. Why does his presence feel calming? Chapter 10, Invisible Care. Small changes began quietly. A cup of warm tea waited on Aaron's desk every morning. Fresh air filled his room. His documents were organized neatly. At first, Aaron thought servants were responsible. But one afternoon, he caught Leo adjusting the curtains. "Oh, sorry," Leo said nervously. "I thought sunlight might help your mood." Aaron studied him. "Thank you." Leo blinked in surprise. "You're welcome." That single exchange lingered longer than expected. Chapter 11, The Shield. A business gathering filled the mansion with powerful alphas. Leo stayed near the wall quietly. One guest smirked. "So this is the beta spouse? How unfortunate." Leo lowered his gaze. Before anyone could react, Aaron's voice cut sharply. Apologize. The guest froze. I said, apologize and leave. The room fell silent. The guest bowed stiffly and exited. Leo stared at Aaron, stunned. Aaron avoided his eyes. But his body stood protectively between Leo and the crowd. Chapter 12, Candlelight Truths. A storm caused a blackout. Candles illuminated the living room. They sat across from each other quietly. Leo spoke softly. Do you regret marrying me? Aaron hesitated. I regret losing control over my life. Leo nodded sadly. Me too. Silence stretched. Then Leo smiled faintly. What did you want to be when you were younger? Aaron blinked. A pilot. Leo laughed gently. Really? Yes, until responsibility crushed it. They talked for hours. The darkness felt warm. Chapter 13, Growing Closer. Shared breakfasts. Quiet smiles. Comfortable silence. Aaron found himself waiting for Leo unconsciously. Leo began relaxing around Aaron. One evening, Aaron said unexpectedly. You don't need to be afraid here. Leo's eyes softened. Thank you. Chapter 14, Unspoken Fear. Leo sometimes caught Aaron staring at distant Omega ads on screens. A quiet fear grew inside him. One day, I'll be replaced. He hid it behind smiles. Chapter 15, The Temptation. A wealthy Omega family approached Aaron privately. We can give you legacy, power, heirs. Aaron hesitated. His silence was misinterpreted. Chapter 16, The Misheard Words. Leo overheard part of the conversation. Upgrade Alliance. Beta was temporary. His heart shattered quietly. That night, he packed silently. A goodbye letter lay on the table. Chapter 17, The Hollow Mansion. Aaron returned home late that evening. The mansion, once filled with quiet warmth from Leo's presence, now felt like a tomb. Every shadow seemed to stretch longer. The faint scent of jasmine that lingered in the hallways, Leo's habit of leaving fresh flowers, was gone. Aaron's hands trembled slightly as he dropped his briefcase. Leo. His voice echoed, strangely hollow. No reply. He noticed the neatly folded clothes on the guest room bed. The note left on the table caught his eye. Thank you for caring for me. I hope you find happiness. Leo. Aaron's chest tightened. The weight of regret hit harder than any punishment he had ever endured. He sank into a chair, staring at the empty hallway. I let him go. I didn't even fight for him. And now he's gone. Chapter 18, Awakening. That night, Aaron couldn't sleep. Every corner of the mansion reminded him of Leo. The garden where Leo watered the plants, the hallway where he dropped the glass, the tea on his desk that was always warm. He realized, painfully, that he didn't just need Leo, he wanted him. Damn it, Aaron muttered under his breath. I don't care about status. I don't care about alliances. I care about him. The realization struck him like a physical blow. Love wasn't a weakness, it was a need. Chapter 19, The Desperate Search. Aaron abandoned meetings, ignored calls, even skipped meals. He searched the city relentlessly. He visited Leo's apartment, the library, every cafe he might frequent. His alpha instincts guided him more than reason. Where are you? He whispered to himself, running his hands through his hair in frustration. Where did I lose you? For the first time, pride held no power. The alpha heir, feared by all, was desperate. Chapter 20, Reunion. Finally, at the bus terminal, Aaron spotted him. Leo was holding a suitcase, his shoulders tense, eyes scanning the platform nervously. Leo. Aron's voice cracked. Leo turned, eyes widening in shock. Aron ran, stopping just in front of him. "Don't go," he said, breathless. Leo's hands trembled as he gripped his suitcase. "I thought, you didn't care," he whispered. I do. I care more than I've ever cared about anything in my life," Aron confessed. Tears welled in Leo's eyes. For the first time, fear met relief. Chapter 21, Honest Confession. They stood there, surrounded by noise and motion, yet in their own world. Aron took Leo's hands in his. "I didn't choose this marriage, fate did. But somewhere along the way, you became my home. My choice. And I won't let you go again." Leo's voice trembled. "You're serious?" "Yes," Aron said firmly. "I don't want status. I don't want legacy. I want you. Only you." Silence stretched, heavy with emotion. Then Leo whispered, "Then, stay honest with me. Always." "I will," Aron promised. Chapter 22, Choosing Freely. They returned home together. This time, no contracts. No obligations. Dinner was quiet but comfortable. Laughter slowly returned. Aron poured tea for Leo, and for the first time, it wasn't an order or a habit, it was a gesture. "You're slow to smile," Leo teased softly. "And you're slow to admit your feelings," Aron replied, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. Small moments like this stitched their hearts together, stronger than any law or social expectation. Chapter 23, Facing Judgment. Word of their reunion spread. Society whispered. Powerful alphas criticized. A wealthy guest sneered, "I never thought he'd fall for a beta. How weak." Aron stepped forward, hand firmly on Leo's shoulder. "A beta didn't weaken me. He saved me." The room fell silent. Whispers died under the weight of his declaration. Leo's eyes widened. "I'm not invisible anymore," he realized. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories if you haven't already. Now, back to the story. Chapter 24, Building Trust. Daily life returned to a rhythm, but slowly, intentionally. They shared responsibilities. Shared meals. Shared quiet evenings. Aron learned to ask for Leo's opinion. Leo learned he could voice discomfort without fear. One night, sitting by the fireplace, Leo admitted softly, "I was scared you'd never want me." Aron pulled him closer. "I'll choose you every day. No one else. Ever." Trust became their strongest bond. Chapter 25, Breaking Hierarchy. Aron and Leo's bond grew stronger each day, but society's expectations remained. Alphas whispered about Aron's unwise marriage. The council murmured about the beta who dared to claim his alpha's heart. But Aron no longer cared about whispers. His alpha instincts now guided him to protect not power, but love. During a council meeting, an elder subtly questioned his choices. "You are jeopardizing alliances for a beta?" Aron's gaze hardened, calm yet unshakable. "I am not jeopardizing anything," he said. "I am strengthening something far more important, trust, loyalty, and love. Something no alliance can offer." Leo, standing beside him, felt a surge of pride. No longer invisible, no longer secondary, he was respected, valued, and loved openly. Society would take time to accept, but their bond was unshakable. Chapter 26, The Meaning of Strength. Aron once believed strength was dominance, fear, and control. Leo once believed he was invisible, powerless in the face of the world. Now, they had rewritten the meaning of strength together. One evening, Leo sat on the balcony, staring at the city lights. "Do you remember the first night you fell sick?" he asked softly. Aron joined him silently, leaning against the railing. "I do," he said quietly. I realized that protecting someone, caring for someone without force, that's real strength. Leo's hand brushed against his. I realized I'm not weak for needing someone. Aaron smiled faintly, pressing his forehead to Leo's. We're strong together. For the first time, power did not divide them, it united them. Chapter 27, Public Declaration. It was a gala, filled with nobles, wealthy alphas, and curious guests. Whispers followed them as they entered, the alpha and the beta together. Has he really chosen a beta over legacy? Aaron held Leo's hand firmly. Walking to the center of the hall, he spoke clearly and loudly. A beta didn't weaken me. He taught me what strength truly means. He is my partner, my home, and my choice. And I will stand by him, openly, always. The room fell silent. Eyes widened. Some sneered. Others paused, uncertain. But one thing was clear, Aaron and Leo were unshakable. Leo's heart swelled with pride. He smiled, tears shimmering in his eyes. No longer invisible, no longer silent. He was finally seen. Chapter 28, Bound by Choice. Morning sunlight spilled into their shared home. Tea brewed on the counter. The scent of fresh flowers lingered. The warmth of shared laughter filled every corner. Aaron poured tea for Leo. Leo set the table. They moved together effortlessly, no words needed to coordinate. Sitting down, Leo spoke softly, smiling. Do you think anyone will ever accept us fully? Aaron reached across the table, taking his hand. It doesn't matter. We've chosen each other. That's what counts. For the first time, they felt truly free. Bound not by obligation. Not by politics. Not by fate. Bound only by love, respect, and choice. And as they shared that quiet morning, Aaron and Leo knew, this was home. The world could watch, whisper, or judge. But they were together. Strong, unbroken, and completely theirs. Thanks. Hit subscribe for the next story.